Stephen, we'd sent late today something about leaf collection. I think it's worth making that public only because it's different from what we've done in the past.
So bags went on sale. That's a good point.
Okay.
So bags went on sale October 1st. October 24th, the drop-off site on West Road opens, and of course you can until that time you can bring them to the recycling yard Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And then on the 31st, winter hours begin the recycling center, so that'd be Saturdays from 8 to 3 only. And then November 14th and November 21st, those 2 Saturdays, will be at curbside collection of special town leaf bags. And they must be set to the curb by Saturday at 7 a.m.
I'll move we open a hearing for the complaint about the condition of 44 Tanglewood Drive. The property is, the lawn hasn't been cut all summer. The weeds are, pick a number, 2 feet high or whatever it is, and based on what I've read here, we have tried, it looked like 4 times, but it might have been more, to contact a homeowner based on registered letters, and the letters keep coming back. I think, from my perspective, we owe it to the neighbors to clean the property up. The order be that the property be corrected by October 12th, 2015, and a fine of $25 per day be imposed on the owners for every day after October 12th, 2015, that the violations continue, that furthermore, the select board order that the town take steps to clean up the property appropriately and put a lien against the property for the amount of money that is spent on cleaning up the property.
All in favor? All opposed? Okay.
My name is Amy Sada, Director of the Council on Aging.
Amy had requested a full-time position for outreach, and I think if the people in the general public in this community understood really some of the terrible living conditions some older people have, really out of sight, out of mind, they'd be shocked that it happens in this community. We decided that, again, there was a more comprehensive way to address these issues, with the biggest thing being a full-time person who is there doing really with the social work background, who understands social work as well as outreach. And the person we selected to do that is a gentleman by the name of Michael Squindo, who's here tonight. But last year at town meeting, there was a $35,000 appropriation to do a feasibility study for the senior center. It was a citizens petition. At the time, we retained Pioneer Valley Planning Commission to do that report. For the money, there's a lot of information here. I think the strength of the report is that first of all, the level of detail in the multiple disciplines involved, multiple A&E disciplines involved in the analysis, but they don't come out and make a recommendation, and I think that's important because we asked them to give us the tools to make a decision. We did not ask them for a recommendation.
Is this a need of the community, and should the select board get behind it? And I think that decision is appropriate, but there's also a relative decision, and that's based on a finite amount of resources. And so the question is, where does it go in the prioritization? The amendment was to accept the development of a new senior center as a select board project.
All in favor? All opposed? Okay.
I move that we appoint Sherry Knight to the 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2017 for the Conservation Commission. I move we appoint Alan Hobart to the 3-year term on the Council on Aging Board of Directors that expires June 30th, 2016. I move we appoint Trudy Epstein to a 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2017 to the Cultural Council. And I move that we appoint Michael Mikan to the 3-year associate's term on the Zoning Board of Appeals that expires June 30th, 2018.
By the way, we got the FY17 budget directives and calendar approval.
Typically, we go up to 2.5% annually in our levy, in our tax levy, and this year I would be proposing 2.25%.
How much is 0.25?
It's about $110,000.
Tennis court renaming petition. We have a citizen's petition that was presented for the renaming of the tennis courts. It said, we, the undersigned registered voters of the town of Long Meadow, hereby petition the select board pursuant to the naming policy to name the renovated tennis court William and Bliss, the Bliss Courts at James A. Russell Tennis Center. Mr. Russell has been instrumental in advocating for the renovation of the courts for many years. This honor is appropriate for his year's service to our town and for the Parks and Recreation, and especially his dedication to the Blinn Tennis Courts. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Regional dispatch vote.
They would recommend to agree to establish a participate in a regional 911 emergency district planning committee. This is really an important effort to better serve our residents, both in our own town but in other towns, in emergency dispatch. Nevertheless, taking the step does not obligate the town to be in a regional dispatch center. It just takes us to the next phase of grant funding, which answers a lot of the questions that have been raised thus far.
There's a thing in here that says that we're conditions the Long Meadow Green Center is not considered nor use of the site. I can't accept this motion on the board because that language has to be stripped. I think it's inappropriate to have that language in a motion before this board.
Wait a minute. You're saying as a point of
It
order?
has nothing to do with the selection of a site. This has to, where we're going to move forward and allow a study to take place. This motion is worded that we're excluding the site, and I think it's highly inappropriate of our board.
No, it's a
No,
choice of the board.
I refuse to accept the motion, I'm sorry.
This is saying that you're not, the only reason you'll go into Emergency District Planning Committee and begin to participate in that is if Greenwood will never be considered. And I don't see how one relates to the other, number one, and how you have the authority to tell a board in 3 to 5 years what it can and cannot decide, depending on, so I strongly recommend that this be withdrawn.
But let's counteract what was written in this document, which has the leading candidate for a regional control center being one of the very few resources we have in town.
Yes.
The reason why I think this condition is so important is because the Greenwood Center being used as a dispatch center is a deal breaker for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we should look at all of our options, and I trust that as a board, we'll make the best decision.
I'm still not allowing the
The original- the original
omission of the
motion.
Greenwood Center, that's
Exclusive,
correct.
yeah.
All right, because you want to keep it open.
The town of Long Meadow, acting through its select board, hereby agrees to accept the provisions of Chapter 500 that authorizes the creation of a planning committee in order to start the REC process, to apply for state 911 grants for planning, design, and ultimately construction of the RECC, and upon completion of the planning process, make final decision whether to join the REC or not.
I'm going to pull a vote at this time. All in favor of the motion as last read? All opposed? Okay.
I'm opposed.
You?
The DPW facility is out. A portion of really where the kind of parking area, the parking area on the East Long Meadow line at Wolf Swamp Field, and a portion of the fields of the space there, was the preferred site, and then a secondary site was the Grand Meadows Tennis Club. Task force, which is a group of I think 10 people, 10 residents that I appointed with varying backgrounds in architecture, engineering, building construction, a member of the finance committee, a member of the planning board. They recommended the Wolf Swamp Field as the preferred, the Wolf Swamp site, I should say, as the preferred site. And we will educate the community about the reasons why one site versus the other is the preferred alternative. I look forward to Weston Sampson's presentation, and I think it'll help really satisfy some of your concerns.